to the Be Your Best Self Life Planning Series. I'm your host, Lakita Brooks, LCSW. Hi! Yes, so excited to continue on our expose of Hugh Hefner based on the American Playboy, the Hugh Hefner story. So I absolutely fell in love with this story and just really love that throughout the movie there were so many different things that we all can learn from the life of Hugh Hefner and just the different things he did to reach his measures of success. And for me, I started the Be Your Best Self Life Planning Series because I don't know how long, it's probably been 20 plus years. I've always been on a journey to improve myself, to improve my life, to improve my quality of life. And now since I actually have a child, to also improve her life. And since I'm a natural thinker, it's like, I'm always thinking about stuff, always analyzing, always examining. So it's like, why not share all this really cool information? Hopefully it helps someone else while we are all on this journey to improve ourselves. So the topic for today is getting ticked off, to find our why and to even pursue our why. So in the American Playboy, the Hugh Hefner story, there was this pivotal time in his life, which we've already talked about last week, how imagination was something that he used as a coping mechanism. It was something that he used to have like an outer body experience. It was his way of dealing with not having affection and all those different things he did in his life. So he was like, you know what? I'm not going to complain about like not having these things. I'm actually going to make it real to me, and I'm going to create a comic. And I'm going to call it, and I actually create a name for myself, like Hugh Hefner, right? So for this week is moving into the whole, this was when he was a kid, and now he's actually in high school. And it was this girl that he was really feeling named Betty. And he's like, man, I have all these different skills. I look good, all this great stuff. And man, Betty is hot. Like, I want Betty. So he was really feeling Betty, really digging her. And then, oh my gosh, what happens? Betty chooses his friend. And he's looking like, oh my God, like, do you not know how great I am? And you're going to choose my friend because you don't see the value in me that I know that's within myself? So that's the thing that actually sparked Hugh Hefner when he was in high school to say, you know what? I am going to transform into the man that I want to be. He didn't know how he was really going to do it. He did do some research, and we'll probably talk about in one of the other weeks what research he did. We'll keep you in suspense about the research he did. But he did mimic something in someone, but that was the that thing that said, you know what? It's time for a change, because how dare Betty think like I'm not good enough or I'm not like cool enough that she chooses my friend? So that's what made him begin his journey to transform into the man that he wanted to become. Like I said, he was in high school. So remember, based on whatever time we are in our lives and season in our lives, that's all we can really conceptualize, right? So we might not know all the ins and outs or anything, but the key is to get started. So for me, I'll just say the thing that has ticked me off and that has caused me to be on this ongoing journey of being my best self, to have the quality of life I desire, and to provide the life I need to for my daughter, is the fact that I love flexibility. I love being able to do the things that I need to do and get some work done. So I really like having that freedom. And even when my daughter was in elementary school, I love being the homeroom mom and still being able to work and even going on field trips and all that good stuff. So that was my driving force, my daughter. I think even before my daughter, I wanted more out of life, but once I actually had a child, it was just like, oh my goodness, how am I going to earn a wage and still have that freedom and flexibility that I need? And even I think about now, she's a dancer, so she has desires of going to the Joffrey Ballet for the summer in New York, and to go to Alvin Ailey, and to go to, other places in California and all this great stuff. And guess what? It costs money, okay? So that is my why. And that's why I do the things that I do. So are you that person that's either A, at a point that you already know your why and you're already pursuing it? If so, kick butt, rock it, keep at it. As you continue doing it, as I've learned from my experiences, as I continue doing it, the more doors that open, the more clarity that I get, and then I just keep pushing forward. And for those of you who are at a point where it's like, so the B person would be, I kind of want more, but I haven't had that thing to say, oh my goodness, I'm going to get it done. So I would just say to you that, hey, don't stress yourself, don't fret, but please know whenever that thing comes, whatever that happens, that is what's going to spark you to say, you know what, this is my why, and I want to be able to control my own destiny, or whatever it is that you want to accomplish. Whenever that unforeseen thing, and I'm definitely not wishing anything bad on anyone. By no means. I don't want anything bad to happen to you. But for all of us, at some point, our why will become clear to us, and that's going to be the driving force. So don't get upset. Don't beat yourselves up whenever you see tons of people around you doing things, doing videos, all this great stuff, at least what it appears to be. Don't fret. One day you'll have your why, and that's what's going to drive and motivate you. Hey, Sakita, how are you doing? So yes, so that is what's going to drive you, your why. And so just to summarize everything we've talked about, basically we talked about Hugh Hefner and why he actually decided to reinvent himself. And he decided to reinvent himself simply because a girl denied him. It's Betty. He was really digging Betty, and Betty was like, I don't want you. I want your cool friend. So from that, it sparked him to say, this is my why, and it's challenged him to say, you know what, I want to become the person that I want to become. So I would encourage everyone to think about your why. If you've already have your why, then that's perfect. And if you don't have your why yet, then one day it'll come. Either way, for the next few weeks, probably months, who knows how long, we're going to continue exploring the life of Hugh Hefner and just the different things that he did in his life to reach the different measures of success. And not everything is going to be positive. Some might be positive, some might be negative, some might be indifferent. But either way, it's just taking an examination of the docudrama American Playboy, the Hugh Hefner story. So until next week, I'm Lakita Brooks, LCSW. Subscribe to my YouTube channel at Lakita Brooks, Lequita Brooks, Brooks, LCSW. And look forward to seeing you next Sunday, 8 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, Facebook Live. So be your best